Hey Georgia FFA, my name is Joey Blackstock, and this year I'm the Area 2 reporter. I am a member of the Jefferson City FFA chapter in Jefferson, Georgia, and instead of our regular FFA day at the fair events where we might prepare different boards and projects that we have been working on for you, today I want to talk to you a little bit about some public speaking stuff, which is something I've always been involved with in FFA. And that was actually the first contest I ever did. So, I want to talk about that and how the different public speaking events I've done interact with my SAE and how you can take those and have those affect your SAE and help you be even more proficient in what you are doing there. So, the first thing with public speaking that I always tell everybody is the first thing you have to do is memorize your speech or whatever it is that you're preparing. You have to memorize that content and learn that content and be able to say it in your sleep. Because when you go into the room, you don't have time to think about it. You don't have time to think about it as much as you would like. So you need to be able to go on autopilot, which is something that everybody does when they go in the room to present their speech. Even if you're in front of your class and you're presenting your project, your agri-science project that you've been doing in basic ag this semester, you're going to go on autopilot with the information that you already know. So you have to memorize it. The next thing is be conscious, read your audience. You can tell that they might be struggling to hear you because they might be leaning in a little bit more. They might be like, you can see confusion on their face because they might not know what you're talking about and they might not be able to hear you, so they really can't understand you. So always be sure to also read your audience. Another thing that I want to talk about is that whenever you are reading, whenever you are listening to your teachers, anything like that, when you're on your phone, you're looking on social media, you might learn something interesting. For Crete Speaking, which is an event I did last year and a couple of years before that, I learned something really cool in my 8th grade history class in social studies. So for everybody, 8th grade is Georgia Studies. So one thing we talked about was the cotton gin in Eli Whitney. And there's a statistic that my teacher mentioned that we actually found through some of the research we were doing in the class, that cotton gins, before cotton gins, it took one worker a whole entire day to clean 1 measly pound of cotton. After the invention of the cotton gin, we were able to clean over 50 pounds of cotton per day, per worker on a farm. And it's little facts like that that you can use in your presentation and you can use in everyday conversation that are everywhere, and be on the lookout for those. I would never have thought about that statistic if it hadn't been for my social studies class in 8th grade. And it's something that one day during practice, I just happened to remember, and I was like, that's a really good example I can use. And that's something that you could use too when you find these different pieces of information. The next thing is, especially with your prepared speeches, you are the expert on this topic. So own it and be proud of it, because you know exactly what you are talking about. So be proud about it and be confident, because you have the opportunity to tell people and teach them about whatever it is that you are passionate about. For me, it's always been genetically modified organisms. That is something that I've been working on for the past 4 years. Well, it may even be 5 years now, in my 11th grade year. That is something that I have really learned a lot about, and I get to tell people about that all the time. And the next thing is, how does this tie into your SAE, which is the whole entire purpose of career development events. We want to develop you in order for you to be better at your career. So how do these public speaking events roll over? Well, with my SAE, which is in ag sales, we always need to know those communication skills and those interpersonal skills that we'll need to be able to interact with customers every day, all day long. And so we take those and we can take those into the workplace, and we're able to understand those situations. And also, public speaking is not easy. It's something that you have to learn how to take care of and be dedicated towards, which is something you learn from these CDEs and these LDEs. And that is something else you can apply to your SAE. All right, Georgia FFA, thank you, and have a great rest of your virtual FFA day at the fair.